right? So tech has been absolutely murdered, okay? This last week, this whole month, Tesla had whew, a 11, close to 12% drop in a single day. It's headed for the worst month, worst quarter, and worst year on record. Tech is being sold off like madness right now. You could see Tesla's down to 109. After hours, it sold off even more. So you add the two together, that's almost 14%. But unfortunately, it's not just with Tesla. Bitcoin related, crypto related stocks also sold off. Look at Coinbase. Coinbase went down 8%. And year to date change, 87% down. MicroStrategy went down 9%. Year to date, almost 73% down. Michael Saylor is definitely feeling the heat. But right now, this Christmas rally, the Santa rally, nowhere to be found. Investors are selling off, basically, I think, taking advantage of wash trading at this point, right? Or, I'm sorry, tax loss harvesting at this point, because many people feel like January is going to be a very, very bad month. So that's why so many are selling off now, right? And hoping to buy back in when things are looking better. That's my thought, because really there's nothing else driving this down right now. Nothing else. We don't have any Powell news or anything else that's really driving things, right? Other than investors themselves selling off and driving things down. But here's the good thing. Did Bitcoin sell off? No. See, now we're seeing a decoupling of Coinbase and MicroStrategy and Hut 8 and Mara, these crypto related companies, even though they have crypto influence, right? They are not the same as Bitcoin, right? Even though, yes, Bitcoin has come down quite a bit, no doubt, right? But recently, it's been rock steady. It really did not move, right? And that is fantastic. It shows the resilience of Bitcoin. And right now, this shows that the holders continue to hold and no one is panic selling Bitcoin, right? But the stocks are getting absolutely hammered. Here's the good news though. Last time Bitcoin volatility was this low, it went on a 600% run. 600%. In fact, in terms of volatility, Bitcoin has never, ever been this low with volatility, this rock solid. That means that Bitcoin is forming a base and getting ready to rip, possibly a 600% rip that could be right around the corner. Now, also, a lot of people that are looking at stocks is looking at this, the DXY. The DXY has not gone up and has been coming down ever since it hit about 115, right? Even though tech has been coming down, DXY has also been coming down, right? And we're right around 103, 104 right now, right? And someone noticed this. The last time DXY went below the 50-week moving average, guess what? Markets rallied. Markets rallied hard. So, can we see something like that happen again? Maybe the massive sell off or the deep recession many people are predicting doesn't actually come. And we actually see a good recovery. That's still in play. That's still in play. So, a lot of people are looking at a DXY and it's still trending down at this point. So, that's good. You know what? Bitcoin, the fundamentals, still strong as ever. I've been saying that. Here's another measurement of that. Look at how much volume, transfer volume to be specific, how much volume there has been this last year versus all the years before. Okay. You know, when it started out, even to hit 1 billion in transfer volume was amazing. But look at the years afterwards, 10 billion, 100 billion, 500 billion, 1 trillion, 5 trillion, 10 trillion. Now, it just seems like it goes on forever, right? So now we have roughly settled 105 trillion. This is how amazing Bitcoin is and shows you the fundamentals are still getting better. And this is why We can't be giving up at this point. I did see this interesting tweet from Peter Schiff, and we all know how much Peter Schiff loves Bitcoin. This is what he tweeted. My Christmas gift to holders is this Bitcoin chart. As you can see, Bitcoin is much closer to its ceiling than its floor. The yellow line that was once support is now resistance. Since the upside potential is so low and the downside risk is so high, the smart move is to sell today. Interesting. What makes him feel like the upside potential is so low and why the downside risk is so high, right? This is the question. This is the $1,000,000 question. Why is Peter Schiff so negative towards Bitcoin? Now, if you were a pure chartist and you were non-biased, I could say, okay, maybe this is something we need to pay attention to, where the resistance has turned or the support turned into resistance. However, because this is coming from Peter Schiff, well, you got to take it with a grain of salt or a boatload worth of salt. So, of course, Peter Schiff, in my opinion, does this because, number one, he does not like Bitcoin because he's still trying to defend gold. And number two, he does this because he wants attention. And many people have called him out on this. But this one is actually a pretty nice response from Jack Fox that says, well, you know what? Look at this chart from the 90s where gold actually just went sideways, actually broke a little bit below, right? And then look at what happened in the 2000 when it starts skyrocketing. But of course, you look on the right side, Peter's like, well, I doubt Bitcoin will follow the same path. Instead of breaking out, Bitcoin will likely break down. Bitcoin is an anti-gold. Again, no real reason given other than his dislike in Bitcoin. So there you have it. Peter Schiff will always be flooding Bitcoin. He doesn't really have any real justification why he thinks Bitcoin is going to go down and not up, right? And when people compare Bitcoin's track to gold, of course, he likes to FUD that as well, right? But here, look at this response. Willy Woo responded to Peter Schiff. My gift to Peter Schiff every day of this year is this live chart in dedication to his hard work marketing Bitcoin to his audience of gold bugs. Okay, and you could clearly see, had you put $1 in gold going all the way back 13 years ago, it would be pretty much the same level 13.2 years later. But had you put $1 in Bitcoin, wow, that $1 in Bitcoin is now worth tens of millions of dollars. So, yes, $1 from 2010 would be worth 1.73 had you bought gold, but $1 bought in Bitcoin will be worth $22 million today. So this is a good reminder to Peter Schiff that investing in Bitcoin, right, there's plenty of upside. Even though, yes, there's downside, there's always corrections, but the upside is unlimited. And we have not nearly tapped that potential upside, not even a little bit. There's way more to come. The only other news I want to talk about is this. Turns out the shares that SBF holds of Robinhood may be taken away from him because guess where the money came from? From Alameda Research. That's right. Him and Gary Wang took out large loans from Alameda. Obviously, we know Alameda took loans from FTX, basic customer deposits. So, it goes from one pocket to another. But it turns out that SBF and Gary Wang borrowed a ton of money from Alameda and used that to form a new company, which they used to buy 7.6% of Robinhood. So what's going to happen with the shares, right? We just don't know. We just don't know at this point. But this is how convoluted things are, right? And this whole thing about SBF not knowing what's going on, right? Complete nonsense. Complete nonsense.